Hello, hello, hello. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and we have made it to another Friday. It is Friday. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome. It is another Friday, a great day of the week. Each day of the week has its own focus and its own value that it brings. And on Friday, focus is what we talk about. We talk about the art of focus. We talk about the skill of focus. We talk about how increasing our ability to focus can help us to supercharge our lives and help us to propel towards what it is that we want to accomplish and how we want to go about doing so. Good morning, Cliff. Welcome from Facebook. Good morning, Cheryl and KT Photography, Joanne and Toya. I see you guys on Instagram, and I see who's just joined from TikTok as well. Welcome aboard, everybody. Today is Focus Friday. Hello, Annie. Yay. Yes, it is Focus Friday. Hey, Shay. I'm glad that both of you are here. Private joke, private joke. Shay knows exactly what I mean by that. We had a good time meeting yesterday. Good morning, Mrs. H. You're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce that. That's interesting. It looks like H to me, but I don't know. Help a sister out. Phonetically, am I saying your name correctly? Welcome, everybody. Today is Focus Friday, and we want to talk about the skill of focus, the art of focus, how we can use focus, and how it can help us to be more honed in and clear about what it is that we desire and carving out the time to focus on what it is that we say that we desire so that we increase our chances of getting there. Good morning, Sonia. Great to see you as well. Give me just a second here. I see you guys are still rolling in. But when you think about focus, I hope you realize that it is a really, really powerful skill, and it has the ability to impact your life in from several different ways. The more you use it, the more you decide that you're committed and you're going to focus in on something, the more likely you are to accomplish whatever that something is. So, like always, like everything that we talk about, it begins with clarity. You have to be aware and clear about what it is you want to accomplish in the first place. And then once you have that, now you're in a position to start to build your plan to get there. If I want to be a great writer, I have to write. If I want to improve my singing skills, I have to sing. If I want whatever it is that I want to do, the next great chef, I've got to get in the kitchen and I have to try recipes and I have to allow people to taste and give me feedback. You have to carve out the time. So when we talk about focus, we talk about putting blinders on. Don't weak. Good morning. Welcome to the live. This morning is Focus Friday, and we are talking about the blinders. We've seen the horses galloping down the track, and when they do, they have blinders on. They are looking straight ahead. They have no ability to see what's going on around them. And for a time, if we really want to accomplish something, we have to carve out that time where we're focusing only on our end goal. How do we do that? We've got to get rid of distractions. That's why the blinders are so important. When you have those blinders on, you're seeing straight ahead. You don't know what's going on one side, you don't know what's going on the other. You remove the distractions. So that's the first part of asking yourself, how committed am I? Welcome, Mike. I'm looking forward to speaking with you next week. We'll sync up after this to make sure our calendars are aligned properly. So put those blinders on and focus on what's ahead. You have to remove the distractions. And so you've got to get honest with yourself. What are the distractions in your life? And sometimes distractions sound like a negative term, but it's not necessarily. It just means something else that you want to give your attention to. And during that time that you've carved out to focus on an individual task, you are committing to saying no to everything else. You guys have heard me talk about the opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is what you're saying no to so that you can get to the yes that you desire. So for a time, I've been working with a person who can help me get a book written. And one of the first things that Dr. Ava said is you have to build out in your weekly schedule. How often are you going to write? Is it going to be every day? Is it going to be a couple of days a week, 3 days a week? And then when you decide how often you're going to write, then I have to decide, am I focused on a number of words on the page? Once I get to 500 words, I'm done. 100 words, I'm done. Or am I going to write for a particular period of time? An hour each time, half an hour each time. What can I really commit to? That's my time where I'm focused on nothing but the task at hand, writing and getting that the pen to paper, clicking on the keyboard, however you do it, and getting those words out so that the book can take form, right? That's my time of focus. So if I'm doing that, that means I'm not doing other things. I'm not on live. I'm not on social media at all. My TV's not on. I'm not interacting with my family. So there's a positive opportunity cost. I like hanging out with my husband. I like watching movies. I like hearing from my son about, whatever has been his latest accomplishments in martial arts. But if I'm going to do those things, it has to be either before or after the time that I've carved out, because focus means you're saying yes to one thing and you're saying no to everything else for a period of time. So for that hour, I'm going to say no to everything else. How can I do that? In order to do that, if you live alone, it's easier because it's just you and you just have to manage yourself. You have to discipline yourself and turn off the distractions, get away from the TV, get out of the kitchen, put the phone away so that you're not. I was reading the other day that even if our phones are face down, that there is a particular amount of time of our brain, like 40%. It was a big number. We're still using about 40% of our capacity focused on the phone, listening for the beep, wondering what messages have come across, that kind of thing. So it doesn't even need to be in view while you're in your focused time. Get the phone off the desk, away from you, so that you're not picking up the phone calls, you're not accidentally getting on social media because you hear the beep. I accidentally fall into the social media trap on a regular basis. So you have to completely put it away. That's what commitment means. That's what focus means. Happy Friday. Have a good day. So you want to make sure that you are creating the environment for success. You remove all the distractions, and then you have to communicate it. I don't live alone. I have a husband here and I have a teenage son in my house. Now he's an adult, he's 19. So it's a little bit easier to kick him out than it was when he was younger. So but during that time, I have to articulate with them, this is what's going on. I'm going to be locked down in my office from this time to this time. When I come out, we'll do whatever it is that we want to do. But for this period of time, I needed dedicated time to accomplish the task at hand. If you don't communicate it, what's going to happen is they're not going to know that they're interrupting your focus time. They're just flowing through their regular day, doing what they always do, checking in, seeing what you're doing, starting up conversation, and then hopefully internally, maybe externally sometime like I did recently, you lash out at them. And you get frustrated because they're not honoring your time. They're interrupting your flow. They're whatever it is that you're feeling, and you haven't communicated it to them in the first place. So they have no idea. So you have to communicate. And that way, they still may break in on occasion because they're not used to your schedule. So you just remind them, hey, I'll get back to you in I've got about 45 minutes left of my focus time. And you go right back to it. All right, if this is an emergency, I'll get back to you in 30 minutes. It's my focus time. And you have to train them to be supportive and to be a part of what you're doing. Don't make them an outsider. Actually make them a part of it. And what you'll find happening is when you start to sneak downstairs for your snack and it's your focus time, they're going to say, "Hey, what are you doing? I thought this was when you would be doing, writing or whatever the case may be." And they become a part of the support system. Have a good day says communication is key. I agree 100%. It would solve so many of our little unspoken frustrations and unplanned quarrels if we actually communicate and let the people in our lives know what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Then we have a support system instead of obstacles. We can turn our obstacles into support if we communicate well. So let them know what your plans are so that they can be a part of it and not on the outside looking in, wondering why you're not responding to them the way you used to. Good morning, Sierra. Good morning, May. Welcome. I'm glad to see you guys are still rolling in. It is Focus Friday, and we've been talking about some ways to focus and what it means to focus. And I liken it to the horses on the track having their blinders on and forging straight ahead and having no distractions to their left or to their right. So you want to get in your zone. You want to have one thing that it is that you're working on, and you say no to everything else for a time. What does that do for you? It increases your productivity for sure. If you decide that you're going to spend, I don't care if it's even 15 minutes, if you're going to spend 15 minutes a day during the workday improving a skill or working towards a goal, in 2 days that's half an hour, in 4 days that's an hour, by the time you get to Friday it's an hour and 15 minutes that you've dedicated to something that's important to you. So it doesn't always have to be huge bites of time. Those little steps, I think that's where we miss our blessing, is we don't realize the value in small steps that are consistently taken will get you to the finish line. You've heard them say, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time." You're not going to swallow the whole thing. It's just not going to work. One bite at a time will get you there. And so you have to be realistic about your focus. You have to, if you've got a baby in the house and that baby only sleeps from this time to this time, that may be the only time that you have yourself where you can work on something. Or that may be when you need to sleep and recharge your batteries. So part of focusing is getting really clear, getting really honest, doing a good evaluation of your situation and looking at where do I have time that I could reclaim. Have a good day is asking me, where did I get this shirt? It says Focused and Flourishing. There is a company called Speak to Me Expressions that you can find on Instagram for sure. And I get a bunch of shirts from her because they all have great sayings like this on it. So look for Speak to Me Expressions and you can find a lot of the shirts that you see me wear. I absolutely love her stuff. So Trina says focus challenge for me equals challenge for me. So focus is a challenge. I know how busy your schedule is, Trina. I know you've started a new job not too long ago, or at least a new position within your company. I know you lead quite a few things at church. You've got teenage, young adult daughters who are in college. You've got a son at home. You've got a lot of stuff going on. So how you find focus in a super, super busy schedule like that is you've got to stop. You have to take a look at what are the things that I am doing when I'm not doing the must do things. I must take care of my son. I've committed to these. I have to be at work from this hour to this hour. I've committed to some leadership positions at my church. So you mark those things off your calendar and those hours and then you look for the white space. Where is there blank space in my day? Is it when do I watch TV? Do I, you have to just get really real with yourself, because there's no point in trying to commit to 2 hours when you only have 20 minutes of time that's not already allocated to other things. So you start with that, figuring out what time you have available. And of that available time, what are you going to pencil in? No, you're going to pin in. What are you going to pin in as your time to dedicate to whatever it is that you're trying to do something differently? And then you have to do some prioritization as well. So when you look at all the things that are already on your schedule, I built these plans. Am I still committed to all of those things, or has something else risen up in importance to me? And you have to get honest about that. That's where I am right now. My schedule is super busy, and my job just expanded my responsibility. So like I started my day at 4:27. I was like, oh, it's not even 4:30 in the morning. I was already getting on calls and getting in touch with people in Ireland because we've got a big project that's due a week from today. And I just found out about it yesterday, and those folks are already gone to bed. So I got up extra early this morning so I could give them as much time as possible for us to start working on that so we can deliver a week from today. Personal choice. I chose to get up. I could have waited. The Ireland workday is about 6 hours ahead of me, so they still would have been working when I started my workday at the usual time, but we would have lost several hours that they could get going. And so I have to evaluate like that. And because my day started at 4:30 in the morning, trust me, by 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm done because I'm going to be tired. And so I think it was Have a Good Day said something about the importance of self care. That's the other thing. You cannot allocate every moment of every day to activities, even if they're great activities. There has to be some balance. There has to be some time where you're going to stop and take care of yourself. I went to bed really early last night because I knew I was going to get up. I didn't know I was going to get up this early, but I figured I would start my day early today because there's so much going on with the new position. So I crashed as early as I possibly could to prepare for that. So it takes being connected, conscious, aware, and consistently assessing yourself. Check in with yourself. I'm actually fresher today and than I have been all week. I have been exhausted all week long. You guys have heard me talk about that because of the schedule. But I went to bed nice and early last night because I just needed that self-care. And it meant I said no to a couple of things. There were some conversations I intended to have and a couple of meetings, and I didn't do them. I had my one last meeting, which I think was, I don't know, maybe about six or something, and then I shut down for the rest of the day because I didn't have anything left in the tank. And you have to give yourself that. And it will make, if you're taking care of yourself, Trina and everybody who's listening, it makes the ability to focus and hone in on what you want a little bit easier. So you start by documenting a real day. This is what time I have to get up. This is what time I have to get my son to class. This is what time I need to be at work. This is what time I check in with the kids, whatever the case may be. Really build out your day for a week. And then you look at what your real week looks like. And then you see if you've got any fluff in there. Are there any things that I'm doing on a regular basis that I could reclaim that time and focus it on something that would be more productive? And then you have to ask yourself, am I taking care of myself? Do I have time in my day where I'm eating and I'm eating well? Do I have time in my day where I'm sleeping? Do I have time in my day where I'm recharging my battery? However it is that you do that, just sometimes getting out and walking around for a few minutes. And I had to do that yesterday because it was such a long day. Just getting outside for a few minutes and getting some sunshine and walking a little bit just helped. And then I was able to get back in and get productive again. Let's see. I see. This is what I have been thinking about lately. I have to narrow things down. Yes. Good morning, Sabrina. You do have to narrow things down once you figure out that things have blown up. My schedule was pretty manageable for quite a while, even though I was doing quite a few things. That's just my nature. I'm always doing a lot of things, but it was pretty manageable. And now it's not. It is not manageable. It's not sustainable because I'm just pulled in too many different directions because one piece has taken up a bigger portion than it usually does. And I wrote about it in my blog. Over a year ago, I did an article called The Chaos of New Beginnings. And what I mean by that is even when great things are happening, they can be very, very stressful. And feeling that stress and working your way through it and acknowledging it does not mean that you're not grateful for this new thing that's happening in your life. It just means that now your schedule is different. If you've got a new baby, you are absolutely grateful for your baby, but you're not sleeping. And when you are sleeping, it's getting, you're getting woken up every couple of hours to feed the baby and change the baby. If you have a new house, you're excited about your new house, but you've got to move in, you've got to unpack everything, you've got to see what's working and what's not. You start a new job or your career expands like mine do. It's a blessing. I'm excited about it, but now I have to get my arms around so many more things. I've got new people that I have to manage now, and I've got to get to know them and how to best interact with them. So there's a lot. It's chaotic. And in that chaos, you can become overwhelmed. If you, one, don't practice self care, if you, two, don't give yourself grace and realize that it's not going to be like this. I'm not going to get up at 4:30 in the morning for an extended period of time, but right now I'm laying the groundwork so that I can get back to that manageable space. So I give myself that grace. I know I'm a little out of whack right now, but instead of fussing at myself for being out of whack or telling myself that I'm preaching one thing to you guys and I'm living another, it feels like that sometimes because I was saying to Shay yesterday when we were talking, I am not sitting here on some totem pole spewing wisdom and knowledge. That's not how I see myself. What I see is me working through my life challenges the best way that I can. And I'm just doing it in front of you guys and sharing the journey with you. So I don't see myself as some great sage. I see myself as a person who's experiencing the same types of things that many of you are experiencing. And because we're talking about them out loud, you guys may drop a comment and help me figure out how to get something done. And I'm sharing with you how I've maneuvered these things that I've come through. And together, hopefully, we all short circuit some of the tough times for each other. If there's a boulder that you're about to trip over, I want to scream, watch out for that boulder instead of just picking you up once you fail. If I can stop you from falling, then sure, let's talk about it. And that's really what my lives are about, just kind of talking about what I've overcome, sometimes talking about what I'm experiencing right now, like all this chaos that my life has become. And then as I work my way through it, hopefully there'll be some nuggets that'll be dropped that'll help you when you're facing a similar situation. And by all means, comment, DM, share. If you have things that would help me, I am completely open. I am not the teacher and you're the student. We're just people conversating virtually about life and how we're maneuvering it and some things that I've learned along the way that might help. Let's see, that's what it's all about. I share in real time, real life, and what I'm going through. Yes, you do. And that's why I enjoy your shares so much. And Sabrina said, I love that. Good morning. So yeah, you guys keep dropping your comments and I'll keep going through this. But that's the idea, is for us to have a dialogue, for us to share what's happening and enrich each other's lives wherever and whenever we can. So focus, if nothing else, it will increase your productivity because you're going to dedicate specific time to something that's important to you, something that you are trying to accomplish. It'll also improve your performance. I talked about writing. If I write every day, I'm going to become a better writer. If I'm a musician and I practice my instrument every day, I'm going to become better by the sheer fact that I'm doing it on a regular basis. So the performance will go up. You'll get more comfortable and find new ways and new skills sometimes that you didn't even realize that were there. And the other thing that it can do is it can enhance your learning and your ability to retain what you've learned. The more I write, or reading, I'm reading a lot. I had mentioned to you guys a lot of times how do you tell someone respectfully that they are a distraction? So instead of, you don't necessarily have to say to them that they're a distraction. I would say something along the lines of, from this time to this time I write. And as much as I enjoy this conversation, we're going to have to get back to it, after my writing period is over, or I really want to be able to give you my undivided attention, but I can't do that right now because it's my writing time. So make it about what you typically do during that time, or what it is that you're trying to get done, and then it kind of becomes obvious to them that they're kind of impeding on some time that you've got dedicated to something else. And if it's someone who doesn't take a hint well, sometimes you have to be very direct and say, as much as I love to talk to you, I just can't right now. I know you're excited about what you want to share, but we're going to have to get together after I finish whatever it is I'm doing. You may have to be a little bit more direct depending on the person on the other end and whether or not they pick up the subtle, or you got to go more straight to the point. But yeah, make it about what you do with that your time right then versus the fact that there are a distraction. I think that might be an easier way for them to take it in and not be offended or feel bad. Let's see. So the more you focus on a thing, whatever that thing is, the deeper your understanding will be. And that's what's meant by kind of retention and learning. Because I don't know if any of you've ever played an instrument, but in the beginning, it's just repetition. You repeat those same scales over and over and over and over again until you develop, kind of muscle memory. And then you can do it without even thinking about it. I had mentioned that when I get really stressed out, I was a part of this training that's called mental fitness, and one of the things that they taught us to do was to rub our fingertips together and focus on that feeling until you can actually feel the ridges in your fingers, because our fingers feel smooth at first, but if you really concentrate, you'll realize that there's ridges there and you can feel it. And we practice that 3 times a day. We had this app and it'll go off when it was time for us to do different exercises. This was one of several, but this was one that I actually really liked because it's so subtle. I can be in a meeting with somebody and I can feel myself getting frustrated or whatever. And even with my hand in my lap, I can do this and nobody's the wiser. They have no idea that I'm kind of bringing myself down. I'm calming myself down. I'm refocusing and getting recentered. No one knows that that's happening but me. But what I've learned is because I did it, I've got this muscle memory, and I did it so many times while I was going through that training that now sometimes without me even realizing it, when I start to feel stressed, I will start doing this and not even consciously begin to do it. And it has that same effect. That muscle memory is there. This in my mind is connected with stress relief. And so my body automatically will start to do it when the stress level starts to come up. That's that muscle memory because I repeated it so many times. I retain it. It's just a part of my cycle and how I process now. The other thing that focus will allow you to do and blocking out those distractions, what it allows you to do is be more creative. You're focused on just this small sphere of information or this one task that you're trying to get done. And because there's nothing else going on but that, your brain will start to think about maybe other ways that I could do it. Could I be more efficient? Should I add this? Should I take away that? And before you know it, you're all focused in on this thing and you're bringing in new fresh ideas. So that's why there's so many of us who have been trained to multitask, and we do it all day long. We do it consistently. I'm somewhat multitasking now because I'm talking to you, I'm reading my notes, I'm responding to the messages as they scroll by. So even though those things are all in the realm of this live, it's still somewhat multitasking. I could focus in just on the camera, keep my eye contact locked with you guys, even though I have to do it 3 different places to have eye contact. I could do that, but there's this multitasking going on because I want to engage with the communications that's happening and actually respond to what you guys are saying in real time. And he said, ideas come to you much better when you are in flow. Yes, man. I don't know if you guys get what it means to be in flow. When you're in flow, when are locked in, and there's this energy that's created, and everything is all of you is focused in on this one area, and so much happens. You get more creative, you get more energized, you get more excited, and before you know it, you've done more with that task than you had even thought that you could, because you've put all of yourself into it. So I am a huge proponent of focusing and teaching yourself to focus. Focus helps reduce stress. Can you imagine how stressful it is when you're trying to do something that's really calling you, it's calling your attention, and now's the time to do it, and you've got all this other stuff going on. Somebody's trying to call, you're trying to deal with a text message, maybe you're trying to check on the kid. It's stressful trying to do all those things at once. But when you can focus in on one task at a time, even if it's something that's difficult to do, it helps you to relax and to relax into that activity, and that relaxing into the activity reduces stress. Do I use a checklist to stay organized? I absolutely use checklists to stay organized. We talked about that at one point in time, and I can't remember if it was James Clear, or if it was another author, but they talked about creating two checklists. You create your checklist of the things that you absolutely want to get done, and then you take the top 3 to 5 things on that list, and you prioritize them, and the top 3 to 5 become its own list, and you only focus on those things until they're done. And then when those things are done, you go back to the larger list, prioritize it again, and see what bubbles up to the top as the most important things to get done. And then you move those to its own list, and you only focus on those. And when they're done, you go back to the list. And you keep operating that way. And it does two things: it keeps you organized, it has you to assess in real time, multiple times, what's the most important thing for you to do, because things change and shift in importance. As we do things, we affect everything else, right? So maybe something's not quite as important as it was when you generated the list. So other things may bubble up past that, but you're not just doing things because it's next on the list, but you're actually evaluating what's the most important thing to do. So it keeps you focused, it keeps your list prioritized, and before you know it, you've knocked out quite a few things. But if you can narrow down the bigger list to, here's the most important things for me to do today, that's what I try to do. And I have a workbook out there. Have a good day. I don't know what your real name is, but I like have a good day. Every time I say it, I'm being nice to everybody, right? So have a good day is asking about the checklist. I actually have a goal setting workbook. Um, it's a downloadable right now, from Teachable. Very inexpensive in that form. It's only about $15 US, but it teaches about goal setting and how you properly goal set. And it talks about my whole M3 program as a coach. And then it gives you a workbook where you are creating the big ticket items. What are the big things that I want to accomplish, maybe a year out or more? And then it helps you to break those things down from the year to the quarter. What am I going to do over the next 3 months? And then you prioritize those things. These are the things I'm going to do in January. These are the things I'm going to do in February. These are the things I'm going to do in March. And then you take that month of January and you break that down. What am I going to do each of these 4 or 5 weeks in the month? And then you take your weekly list and you break that down to, here are the tasks I'm going to do each day of this week. And before you know it, the year is up and you have accomplished so much, because you've honed in, you focused not only on what you want as a big goal, but you focused in all the way down to your daily task to accomplish that. So if anybody's interested in getting the workbook as a downloadable, just DM me, send me your email, and I'll get the link to you. But exciting news, and Ennie's on and he's helping me work with this. The book is actually going to be launched on Amazon in a couple of weeks. We're looking at May the 29th. It will be available and you can order it and have it delivered to you, not have to worry about downloading and that kind of thing. And you have the workbook in front of you with all those pages, and it'll allow you to do the goal setting in real time. Thank you. Have a good day. Said yay, congratulations. Thank you very much. I am excited about it, and it's something that I've used over time, and I've formatted it in a way that, and it has the information to go with it. So you're not just setting goals, but you're being taught how to set goals. What are the elements of good goals? And what makes them accomplishable, and then how do you get about building that plan to accomplish them. So it's a good piece of work, and I'm excited about it. I'm proud to slap my name on it, and I can't wait till you guys have it, and I can get some feedback from you. Let's see, and I bet you that's Grace saying still focus on multitasking. Love the example. Yeah, no matter what we're doing, we have to figure out how to focus. Absolutely. All right, so let me check my notes real quick, because I don't think I've gotten through everything, but we've gotten through quite a bit, and we may be at a good stopping point. We talked about, oh, two more things: enhanced decision making. Why does having focus enhance your decision making? I talk about this quite a bit in different ways. Um, if you are clear about what your goals are, if you are clear about the journey that you're on and where it is you're trying to go, it becomes very, very easy to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. So because your yeses are your yeses and your nos are your nos, your decision making is improved. You're looking at everything from the lens of your goal. If I say yes to this, is it moving me to or away from the goal or goals that I have set for myself? And some things you're automatically going to have to say no to because they don't align with your goals. They don't align with where you're going. They're going to slow you down. They're going to reroute you. So your decision making immediately becomes better when you have that goal in mind, and you're making decisions from that point of view. Does it move me there, or does it hold me back? So by default, your decisions will be better, and they will align with what's important to you, so you stay energized. It's frustrating when you spend a lot of time doing things. You're good and busy, but you're not doing the things that align with your personal goals. Have a good day says, I always feel bad when I have to tell someone no, but I'll have to get over that. Yeah, when a lot of people, including me, have that same issue. Saying no can be very, very difficult, but saying yes to everything is not self-care. Saying yes to everything is sometimes it's not even good care for the individual. We can handicap people from being independent and making good decisions and doing things on their own because they get so used to us doing it. And sometimes we teach people how not to even value us. They take us for granted because we're an easy yes, we're always a yes. So things that other people could or should be doing, or things that they could or should do for themselves, they don't even think about doing because they're so used to dropping it on you and you running with it. So your nose, it's not because that person is less important. It's not even because what it is that they want to do is not important. But we only get this one life on this side, right? And while we're here, we were born with a purpose, a unique purpose, each and every one of us. And in that quiet time, when we're focusing, when we're meditating, when we're taking the time to tap into what is really important to us, we start to find out what that purpose is if we don't already know. And if you want a life that when it's coming to an end, that makes you smile, if you want a life that you're proud that you've lived, it's not going to be about every little thing that you've done for everybody along the way. It's going to be about, have I reached the destiny that was put in me as I was becoming me. As I became this human being, I came with a purpose. There was something that I was designed to do. And I believe that if I've done that, then it's a life well lived, and it's a life when it's leaving that I can be proud that have lived, and I will have left something for my family. It's a life that's productive. Doing a whole bunch of stuff keeps us busy, but doing the right stuff at the right time is what gets us from busy to productive. And that's what we want to talk about. We want to really make sure that we're being productive and we're doing the right things. Any said, we'd love you to give us your email address so that we can keep you updated and send special offers. Yes, you guys, please, please, please DM me or comment with your email addresses. Any is a fantastic marketer, and he is helping me get the book out as well as some other things that, like my classes and things that I have going on. So he's going to be putting some promotions together, special pricing the first few days of the book and things like that. So we want to be able to announce it to you guys, and you guys get it at the special promotions, and help me get out there and make a splash. You know, it's just like when a movie comes out at the theater, that first weekend is what determines whether or not that movie is considered a blockbuster. It can make a lot of money over time, but for it to win the awards and for it to get all those titles and accolades, it has to make a big splash that first weekend. And that's how we're trying to position this as well. In the very beginning, when that book really comes out, it's going to come out with some really low special pricing, because I'm hoping this community will rally around me and support it, and we get a big splash in the beginning, because that means something in that space. And so I'm going to be asking you guys to help and support when it's nice and low, and then after we get through that first splash, then it'll go up to the regular price, and hopefully continue to, you know, have consistent sales. But we want to have a splash when it first becomes available. So any wants to be able to share all that with you. Have a good day says, I'm new here, are you a life coach? Yes, I am. I'm a life coach, and I focus on mindset. um, when you see me on some of the other social media where I've got my all my branding and stuff, I say the voice within wins. And the reason I say that is because I'm totally sold out and sold into that concept. I believe that if we tap into our inner voice and we get clear about what we say and how we feel about ourselves, and we reframe those negative messages that are playing, that a lot of times we're not even aware that they're there. They're controlling our lives. They're telling us which way to go and what to do and what not to do. And if we don't tap into that and get control of that, we miss out on so many life opportunities, and we miss out on the joy that this life can be. So we can't control everything that's going on around us, but we can control how we respond to it and how we see ourselves in the midst of all of that. And that's really what I focus on. Oh, Damien, hi, it's you. You showed up as LinkedIn user today. Usually that's Grace. So welcome, Damien. It's good to see you again. So we are going to go ahead and call it a day. It's been a long one, and I appreciate you guys so much for sticking with me. What I'd like to do at this point is ask you to, I forgot to do it at the beginning. So as you guys come back, as soon as you come on, please get in the habit of just sharing the live, inviting other people to come in with you the next day, that kind of thing, because I do want to continue to grow this community. It's doing well, and I thank you all for that. But I would love to keep doing it. So if you're getting value, bring other people along and make them aware. So we're going to close for the day. If you catch this as a replay, hashtag replay. Thanks for sharing, Aromatic Vision. Hashtag replay. And I will comment as soon as I get back on this afternoon after work. And other than that, guys, drop us your email so that we can give you out more information about the upcoming workbook on goal setting, and we'll go from there. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Decide now what you're going to focus on. What's the most important thing for you to get done today to wrap up your work week, and do that, and say no to a few other things so that you can focus on that and drown out the distractions. Remove them for just a period of time so that you can have some focused time to accomplish what's important to you. Okay. We will be back on Monday. Monday, we talk about mindset. And on Mondays, I come on at noon Central because I have a conflict with a work meeting on Monday mornings. So we will be back Monday at noon, and we will talk about mindset on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll do it again next week. Thank you so much for joining, for sticking in.